Up to the chat real quick.
Now, the only way it's acceptable to be a little late to the live video is if on a Tuesday you're having tacos. What was it that you were just woofing down there?
I actually had tacos.
Oh, you're lying.
No, I swear to you. I did. I did, DK.
Oh, no.
Because it is Taco Tuesday.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
It is that.
It is. And it's also the time we start our show. Man, shout out. I see he's in here already again, DK, your favorite barber, man. In here just live, handing out memberships yesterday.
Oh, yeah. He's been busy. He's also offering us cuts. I'm not sure how to take that.
I might take it, DK.
What about Fat Tony calling us goobers?
What up, Goober? No, that's your name, Fat Tony. I guess Fat Tony's already a name, right?
I mean, I don't know how much more you need on top of Fat Tony. You think somebody would say, "Hey, Fat Tony, you goober"?
or maybe they got like eight different Tonys in the town, and he's just Fat Tony, but he's skinny
and calls everyone a goober.
And he calls everybody a goober. I tell you what, he's not going to call us, DK.
What's that?
Not hitting the bell and starting this show.
Mm-hmm.
You ready? All right.
You realize that's a false start on me, right?
5 yards, DK. Take him back.
9 more of those, and I'm going to get replaced by somebody from Philadelphia. Oh, no.
Did you just go there?
No, I did not.
And because we always start the show with the bell, DK, come on, man. It's a little Eagle Beaver there. Here we go. There it is. Now we've officially started.
Teresa chimed in right there with you. Like the timing?
Yeah, come on, Teresa. We use DK, as a rookie, we'd have let you have it. DK. Eager Beaver right there, huh? Really good job.
That's it. Reginald Rivers wishes us hello from Bartlett, Tennessee. He tends to do that. Yeah, he tends to do that. Swan comes in with, what is that supposed to be? Pianos and drums?
Start the show, DK.
No, I think that's what he's doing here. The show in general needs more cowbell.
That's the Saturday Night Live bit right there.
Frank comes in with the bro fist.
What up, gang? I see you.
We're all right with all of that. Everybody's in kind of a chill mood today. I get this sense, you know.
Well, let me go to a chill spot real quick. I actually have our topic down. It actually is the prerequisite right here to who we will talk about later.
Wait, Kurt, no, man.
What Kurt got?
No.
Is it bad? Kurt.
No.
Pull over. Okay.
Pull over, dude.
And watch it.
Not okay.
Kurt is not unless you're being driven.
No, he says he's driving. Okay, Kurt, pull over. All right, I'm sorry, Moan. Go ahead. We're trying to save Kurt's life here.
Hey, y'all get on. See, that's why he's also at the uncle table too. Kurt don't know how to pull over and watch a show. He want to drive and watch a show and not stay in between the navigational beacons. It's not okay.
Yeah. Okay. You were saying, Bone.
Uncle Kurt, what you got going on, man? I need a haircut, by the way, too.
I got something cool for you.
Oh, well, let me address this one real quick, too, because it's perfect for what we got, and then we'll roll that way afterwards. Okay, DK?
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing the conversation on this chat. I actually hadn't seen it much on social media. By the way, I got locked out of my Twitter. If you hadn't seen me tweet anything, well, my two-step verification, I'm not Twitter blue, so I don't use my phone, and I don't get the codes to my phone for whatever reason. I got to figure a way to get back on there. But I haven't seen this storyline come up a whole lot, but it's been coming up a good bit in our chat. And it's the conversation around Munch wanting to get back into coaching.
Okay.
My position on this is that I love Munch. I think Munch will be awesome if he did come back or wherever he goes to actually start, his what is this, second, third, 10-year round coaching again too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you have a really good offensive line coach from what we see in Coach Pat Meyer. Are you willing to fire him to get Munch? Some of you are going to say, yeah, but the way the coaching world works, I don't think Munch is going to step on his neck to go get a job that he had before is where I'm at on that one. The coaching circuit, very, very tight. You don't jump on a guy's neck to go get a job that you once had that you left.
It won't be in Pittsburgh. I can tell you that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It won't be in Pittsburgh.
I actually had a chance to I was over at OTAs today, as I told you that I would be, and I had a chance to not only observe Pat Meyer in action, paid a little bit of extra attention to him on and off the field. And one of the things I like, Mo, and this is actually really cool, is after the whole session was done and media gets kicked out of the locker room or filing out of there, there were two of his linemen who were just following him up the hall to lunch. And I thought, that's actually, and you can tell people, that's not a common sight. Okay,
no.
Coaches kind of stay with the coaches and players with the players. This guy was just hanging with his guys. On a related note, I had a good talk with Isaac Seumalo today for the first time.
Yeah. Okay. Did you?
And
reserve guy?
He's right there with you. He's real, but he's not over the top. He's not going to be somebody who naturally draws over the top reactions from people around him. Does that make sense?
And you know what? That's fair. I think it's okay. Either he's just playing his role really well as a new guy.
He talked some about that. He talked about his role. He talked about being impressed with this group. Said he went back and watched every game from the 2022 season, which shouldn't surprise anybody. That's not an extra effort. You kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe he doesn't to learn the offense, but he made it sound like he was watching it to learn about his teammates.
Good.
Yeah, and I further heard from somebody today that he has become like that. If not the guy, then definitely a guy.
Okay.
Kind of hedging every time we talk about Mason Cole being the leader, and I'll kind of hedge a little bit. Well, he's the leader when it comes to talking to the media. That's not leadership. I'm sorry. As much as I appreciate it, leadership happens elsewhere. Okay.
Yes, it does.
I'm getting the sense that this guy has just walked in off the street and done this.
Tone setter is what you're saying. Room culture. Developer,
culture. Accountability, culture.
Accountability. And that's, you remember we talked about that, did we not, DK? Let's go back. I'm sure you can catch one of the 310 other shows that we did. And we've had that conversation, right, DK, about when are they going to get to a point to where they hold each other accountable? When are they going to be okay with pointing a finger and say, hey, man, we need a little bit more right here. Hey, pull off a little bit right here. That's what we had as a group. That's what most good groups have also. And that's what's necessary in that room, because it really is a mix of Chuk's not a big talker, lead by play. James Daniels, not really a big talker, lead by play. Mason Cole, talker, also lead by play. But you need 2 or 3 guys that's going to be able to grab the rest of them and say, this is how we do things right now. So hearing him being, and let's be honest too, DK, it really is expected for a guy like Isaac Seumalo, right? Because he's a veteran. He's been on Super Bowl winning teams. He's been in a locker room where he was a young guy, grow into the older guy. And the group that we have ain't bad in the OL. They're not bad.
Yeah. And
to be able to say, hey, we just got, it's like sandpaper. That's what he needs to be to that group, right, DK?
It is. And he seems to both acknowledge that and accept it. If not outright embracing it. I don't know. For all I know, it was, you don't judge anything by a handful of minutes that you spend with somebody. I got a surprise for everybody today.
Oh, man.
Here's the part one of this is not a surprise at all, is that Darnell Washington is enormous, is just freakishly, monstrously, beyond human capacity large, okay? And he doesn't make sense. You look at him and you say, that doesn't make sense. Who is a 6'7", 269 tight end who I just watched out on the field doing all those other acrobatic, athletic things?
Yeah.
What is with this guy? So, to continue the running theme of my being 6'2", which I actually am, and I did have somebody come in to the shop today and say, you're taller than I thought you were.
Of course.
Here's a few seconds of me asking Darnell Washington just what I thought, how diverse this offense can be.
How diverse can this offense be? You have a lot of different types of pieces here, you know?
Very diverse. You got speed. You got
He was
speed.
pointing to you when I was talking to him.
You got speed. You got big physical. You got great ball skills like George. You got, I mean, whatever you name it, we got it, man.
Isn't that cool?
I like that. I love the hair even more.
By the way, I have to put a little bit of context in there. When he motioned in this direction, you got speed. It's little Calvin Austin sitting over there.
Really?
Okay. Now you want to talk about polar, because I had just gotten done with Calvin Austin, and I come and funny is that when I asked the same question of Austin, he motioned over to Washington and said, "We got speed, we got size."
Yeah.
But that was the thing. That was the thing, is that there can be something to this offense.
It could be, and it could be this right here where Crow 74 said, let's smash that like people. Well, we can smash people also, okay? I think it's unique. You got a young guy that came from back-to-back national champions into a team that probably looks, at least on paper, that's what we're going to head with this thing, right? On paper, DK. We hadn't played ball. That's all we got. And that's why I think a lot of people question what the play calling is going to be like offensively, question what the concept of the offense is going to look like, development of Kenny Pickett, because you do have a lot of different angles to take this team. Yes. And by the way, I'm always the one to kind of look behind the screen when somebody gives a statement sometimes, right? Sometimes just playing out what it is. For Darnell Washington to look over at Calvin and be like, we got speed. Me personally, as a fan, former player, I kind of look at it and say, well, what y'all got for Calvin then? For the folks that's wondering what Calvin's got going on. I know you can't report on it, DK, because nothing's been put out there. But for Calvin Austin name to come up as a speed guy from Darnell Washington says a whole lot about it. And then, of course, he said we can go deep down the field. He mentioned who? George Pickens, right? You're getting the answers to what guys are putting out there. You just got to listen a little bit. I'm fascinated for him to say something like we got speed in Calvin Austin, because you're right. It does make sense to use a guy like him in speed sets, but it's got to be pure. It can't be forced, and it can't be putting this offense in a bad situation right now. I thought that was a little nugget that was given, DK.
Welcome to our membership to Kurt, who we were just going back and forth with.
Come on, Kurt.
Here, Ryan says that smile you just posted, DK, is contagious. Yeah, Darnell Washington's got himself a smile.
He does.
But he is also all business.
Yeah,
and it's an impressive group of young, not just young players that they've added, but it's an impressive group of young people that have made an impression. A lot of different personalities, as you would expect and hope, actually. Youth. But it's yeah, exactly. That's the main thing that I have. My takeaway from today is, I think I told you in advance that I was going to go in paying a lot of attention to the offense and whatever changes and stuff like that might be happening. But the number one thing that comes across is something that Allen Robinson said to me today, and that is, he said, just look around, look at the different types of weapons that are here.
Yeah. And I think that's why everybody's so excited. I think that's why everybody outside of Pittsburgh, because inside of Pittsburgh is looking at this team like it really does have a shot. The national talking heads, I saw somebody projected the Steelers to win 8 games. So it may be that. But guess what? The talent in what you have suggests that, look, you can go as far as these coaches are able to coach up. I do kind of look at this group this year, DK, more times than not. And I do say coaches going to have to coach this year. Coaches are going to have to really point guys in the right direction, DK.
Yeah.
This ain't my group is good enough and they're experienced enough. Just let those dudes be. There is none of that this year at DK, in my personal opinion.
There's nowhere to hide. Just say
nowhere to hide. Yes. Okay?
I mean, that's not to say that the Steelers' offense is overflowing with superstars, or that there's an AB in this group, or there's even a Lev, okay?
Yeah.
Certainly not a Ben. Okay. But this is a group that now has a good, solid National Football League player at every offensive position, unless I'm missing something.
They either have it or they have the potential to be.
Yes. Right. You can say to clear
it up. Yep.
Right.
Because I was thinking to myself too, I wonder, as far as the teams that we had in that era, right? We had a special group let's go from starting in, let's go 12 all the way to 19, if we're just being honest.
That's
12
about right.
to 19. That group was as talented as almost anybody's roster. I look at this group as a young outfit right now and say, boy, if they just stay together, stay healthy, and let the contracts work themselves out, they can be better than us. Again, at the O-line, some guys got to grow up. Some positions got to be defined. Kenny's not being as a non-comparison, right? And I would also just throw that Mason Cole's not Pounce. Two different conversations. But as a whole, as a group, you look at the group as a team, you say, this is going to be a nice watch. However it develops, y'all, and the coaches more than anything are going to be put to the test, I think, more than the players are this year.
I could not agree with that more strongly. You know what else I can agree with, Moan?
What's that? All of Hey Mo?
Yeah, kind of something like that. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Instead of doing the usual get-go read, I was actually there today, Moan. You know, the one behind the football facility.
Yeah.
And there's at least one offensive lineman there. I didn't recognize him. You know how OTAs are. You don't know everybody.
Yeah.
You know, even the players don't know who everybody is there.
You really don't.
He's kind of – you see somebody who looks like a football player walking past you in the hall, and he's kind of nod. Hey.
I'll get your name if you make the team.
But instead of doing the usual get-go read and pointing out that I actually got this thing.
Some Turners.
It's the same thing as the jug. Oh, yeah, I have to, yeah.
Oh,
I got rules I got to follow. I was blown away by the perks. Like, it's crazy. They changed their perks program in May, and it's nuts. Like, you don't even have to work hard at all to end up with a free tank of gas, and you get all that good food and everything along the way. So this is me skipping the usual 3 chefs and everything just to share with you a really genuine sentiment that if you're thinking about the old perks program, you are thinking in an outdated form. I was moved almost to tears by this moan. Not quite to tears.
I mean, not tears, but close enough. Close enough.
Let's see what we've got today here.
I got one, man, because we ended it, DK.
All right.
With this one, I just want to go there real quick on one. And it's from my guy, Gabe Carter, man. It says this. As we were speaking about this team and how talented they can be on paper, there's absolutely no reason this team can't win the North.
None.
That's fair. That's very fair. But I say pump the brakes just a little bit when it comes down to winning the North. Like, Joe Burrow's still there. Lamar is still there. You got 2 potential MVPs and another guy they're putting on the pedestal too when it comes down to Deshaun, that they've had some stacked teams too. But you know how I feel about the Browns, so I'll just leave it right there. But I would say be slow to go on this. It wouldn't shock me, DK, if I much rather say I feel like we can get 3 out of the 4 teams in the AFC North in the playoffs with us being 1. Winning the North is going to be a big feat for us, man. And I just think with the amount of youth that we have and just being brutally honest, the way this team got to be coached up to not make the same mistakes twice. That's the big separator when it comes down to having a youthful, talented team, is the mistakes are a part of the process too.
Yes. Could not agree more vociferously. Gabe Carter is giving me credit for the interview with Jaylen Warren, one of the most personable, interactive pieces of media I've ever seen. Speaks to your skills. No. It's about Jaylen Warren, okay? Yeah. When you see, I don't ever do that, okay? If I'm, first of all, if I'm asking an athlete for their time, I'm grateful for it. They don't have to. They don't have to do it. There was, there have been, like in OTAs, for example, players aren't required to provide any media access. Moan remembers that, okay? And there are some players who will take you up on that offer, meaning, will say no. And, there's been a couple of guys who said no consistently through this. You can kind of figure it out based on who hasn't. Okay. But when you get somebody and they cooperate with you, it's awesome and it's wonderful. And when you see this, I did a similar thing with Calvin Austin. It'll be up tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's them.
I'm excited to see Calvin Austin being called fast again, DK. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, he is. I'll share with you this part, Moan, since you brought him up. He said that he's keeping himself at a certain. See, if I tell you he's not 100%, that's going to sound like a health thing, and it's not. Again, you can relate to this.
I'll explain it more. Let me know.
Yeah. But what he said was that he's keeping himself at not at 100% when it comes to pushing it from a football standpoint. Does that make sense? Okay, please elaborate for everybody.
He's had conversation with the legendary Coach Guimont, our strength and conditioning coach, Garrett Guimont with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure he's talked to Coach Tomlin. I'm sure he talked about his muscle fibers, and I'm sure he's probably had some conversation with some vets. Because that's the thing about those smaller, faster dudes. Those muscle fibers are a little bit more tender than other guys. He's smaller. His muscles are probably just wound up all the time because he is so quick twitch, right, DK? That to me sounds like an offseason conversation about, hey, we need to be able to utilize you more. So what you've been doing all this offseason, let's pull back a little bit. Honestly, who said that yesterday, DK? TJ Watt.
Yeah.
TJ Watt said this. So as you see, this is now load management at this point. This time of the year, y'all, I love we're getting all this information about what the guys look like, what they're doing. DK, how much does it matter in accordance to the season?
Absolutely nothing at all, even if you're one of those nobodies in the hallway.
Yes.
They can't make the team here.
No.
They're not getting cut between now and Latrobe. Their services are needed in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay? That last preseason game that nobody wants to play in. Your services are required in Charlotte in August, okay? You're not getting cut.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And I saw a lot of people saying, too, Pat Peterson was saying that Joker's fast, speaking about him. He ain't even at 100%, man. Let's get him on the field. I'd love to see it then.
Oh, yeah. Twiz says, hey, Moan, I often hear that Kenny Pickett is a gamer, which in other words sounds to me that people think he's not as talented but has intangibles. Does that scare you?
Man, I got a real good breakdown about Kenny Pickett. I didn't even share this with you, DK.
Here we go.
The assessment of him was this. He has a big arm. He's a gamer. He's a game time type of guy. He's a guy that plays well under pressure. His teammates love him. He may be just a little less talented than some, but the ability to make plays, be a team first guy, be a guy that, look, if you got a benefit, I'm there. Be a guy, hey, man, how's your kids doing? Be a guy, hey, y'all going out? I'm coming with you. He's one of the gang. And those type of people, DK, do what? They attract guys to them. Yes, they make guys want to sell out for them. Don't expect him to be as talented or as Ben was, because that's going to be the measuring stick. And that's the only reason I bring that up. For anybody that want to quote that, that's all I'm saying. He's not going to be Ben, and Ben is not him. Heck, he's not Charlie Batch, and he's not Ken. You see what I'm saying? I just want to clear that up. Don't expect him to be Ben. He's going to go about winning a totally different way. That was a deep dive assessment somebody gave me about what he is I trust.
I love it. I saw Charlie there today. Charlie was hanging around, representing Munhall.
Yep.
Charlie was there, and Mike Tomczak was there to go back further into the Steelers' past. And I was fortunate enough that Mr. Tomczak spent the entire session with me.
Yeah.
Sharing the knowledge. By the way, watches the show.
Yeah. Hey.
And we were talking about, he was talking. When somebody's like that is around me and I have the opportunity to learn, I'm going to take it. Okay.
Absolutely.
And while I'm not allowed to describe plays and stuff like that on the field, I can describe a great moment where we were talking about Kenny in general. Okay. And talking to a quarterback. Okay.
About a quarterback.
By the way, he also is still a volunteer quarterbacks coach at Youngstown State University, working for Jim Tressel up there.
Wow.
So he's still in the game. And we're watching these drills. And again, I'm not going to Okay. And Kenny does a thing that he does very, very well. Okay. But it's not combine stuff. It's not big hand stuff. It's not rocket pass stuff. Okay. You know what I mean? And we're talking about it. And then, of course, him being a quarterback, he watches the alignment. He said, okay, on this play, they're going to do this, 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 and this, and this. I'm just going, like, how do you do this, right?
Yeah.
But you never, the game never leaves your blood. And sure enough, Kenny does exactly this thing and puts this wonderful little touch, okay, on something. And he turns to me, Mike Tomczak does, and says, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's a catchable ball. That's a football player. That's a quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. Yes.
And DK, that's what you get out of him. You know what I'm saying? From my understanding, like, those are the things you're going to get out of a guy like Kenny Pickett. And I don't know if he's going to be face of NFL guy, a Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes type of dude. But what is that if you go win a Super Bowl? All of that comes the deeper you go into the playoffs. Like, and I think Pittsburgh is a great city for him to, have a career in, because as we've seen, you surround them with talent. I mean, anybody's going to flourish. Why did Tom leave New England? Talent. Why is Patrick Mahomes trying to get DeAndre Hopkins? Talent.
Yeah.
Like, we give all that credit to who's who of quarterbacks, but the reality of it is what, DK? If you ain't got nobody surrounding you, you really don't have a team.
Marvin Wallace has managed to pound his way through the door here, and he says, hey, Moan and DK, what do you think? Is Corey Trice better than Joey Porter Jr.? I knew this wasn't going to take long. Go ahead, Moan.
Nah, don't do it.
No.
Don't do it, Marvin. I love the question, because the fact that you got a late round guy like Corey pushing it, guess what? Even better for the higher draft pick in Joey Jr. Like, I think it's okay. Again, don't misconstrue what happens this time of the year as opposed to what happened later. If we get a stud out of a seventh rounder, that's called great scouting. That's called buying low, selling high. That's exactly what it is. JJ is the guy for a reason, okay? You don't fall that far as Trice did without having some of the things that Joey Jr. does have. Let's just put it right there. And I love for both of them to start.
Yeah, but they won't. I just don't. I don't see this. Although I'll tell you this, though, Patrick Peterson has acknowledged taking snaps and running drills at times at the nickel position. He's trying different things. You do still have Levi Wallace in the fold. Okay, and Levi Wallace, it's like I forgot he exists. He was the starter.
Yeah, he was.
And you didn't hear his name that much. And remember, that's good.
Yep. And the other portion, too, if Trice does get out there before, some guys learn different. Some guys play adjustments a little bit different, too. I wouldn't judge it off the fact that he's better than Joey Jr. if he's out there on the field a little bit sooner. Maybe it's just a personnel situation.
Yeah, this just isn't.
Great question, though.
It is. It really is. And it's not something that I think is going to be taken terribly seriously by anybody until you get to Latrobe. If you keep making plays the way he's making them, I was about to give you. See, I almost did. No, I can't.
Oh,
let's just say that. I'll put it this way: Trice did something without even having to do anything today.
Size.
Okay, let's say I'll speak generally here. Long corners can have an impact on wide receivers, where the receivers go out for the route and go, and then they'll break their route too soon, or they'll get away. They'll be trying. They're focused more on getting away from that guy and his goofy arms than they are just running the route. And then the ball sometimes can just randomly fall 8 yards away, and all of the credit goes to the corner. And hypothetically, Grady Brown, the cornerbacks coach, might be yelling out from the background, "That's it! That's what I'm talking about!" Not that any of this happened, and not that I'm confirming it.
Okay. All right then, DK. That makes sense to me, man. We just talking out loud.
How did I do there, Moan?
We just talking out loud there. I can't give you a grade because you didn't say anything, right?
This is
right.
A good point. It's incomplete, right?
It was. Yes, it was incomplete, DK.
I like that. Carl says the only really bad game that Levi had was against the Bills. Against his old team, maybe.
Yeah. Everybody's due one. You know what I'm saying? Like most are. Like, and the thing about it is a matter if you're exposed or not exposed. A guy can have a terrible game and you never actually see his terrible plays. You feel what I'm saying? So, or a guy can have what you think is a great game and it's not so good. A lot of that type of stuff happens, man. But I'm excited to hear about the young corners, DK, as you said nothing.
No, that's right. Someday you'll hear something about them, but I think there's naturally going to be more eyes and more paying attention to the seventh rounder because it comes with more of a circus feel. You know, it's unusual. Jay Lopes says, "Hey, Moan, what does success look like really for Kenny this year? Is it 3,000 yards, 25 TDs? Where's the bar?"
The bar. Different game. I think we say this now for Kenny. Because I do think we're going to run the ball a little bit more till he get his footing underneath him too. I'll say this. Give me 2,800 yards. Give me, if we can tap 20 passing touchdowns. If we can tap that. I don't know how real it is, just being real with you. Okay? If we can tap 20 touchdowns, 2,800 yards.
Asking a lot. It's
I know it ain't DK, but it's a matter. I say this in what I think that what I actually think the flow of the offense is going to be. I think it may be more through the ground than it is through the earth. Through the air. That's the only contingency I have on 2,800 yards. Give me 21 touchdowns and give me less than 10 interceptions.
That's actually the number that I guarantee you they're talking to him about. Way more than the other ones. You know.
Yeah. Get anything else from him is the bonus. If he gets 3,500 yards, beautiful. I love to see that big 7 year 2 leap, but less than 5 Pittsburgh, man. That's
a little harsh.
That's a tall order right there, man. Just for reference, Patrick Mahomes had how many interceptions last year? He had, I'll give it 1 second, DK. Patrick Mahomes had 12 interceptions last year with 41 touchdowns.
That's why he's Patrick Mahomes. That's
30 and 8. Shipley is solid too.
Yeah.
I'm more conservative.
You'll take the 8, that's for sure here. Tony Anderson says, "Hey, Moan, most networks put us at around 9 and 8 again. And given that we just made 9 and 8 with the hardest schedule, a hurt Najee, a rookie quarterback, and an offensive line that was just getting better at the end, should we be 10 and 7? Tony, you get through all that just to give the team another win?
One more win.
Come on.
I can see us getting it.
Tony's planning the parade here, and then he just goes, how about one more win?
One more win. We did that on a whim, man. I told you in the first few weeks, DK, I can see us going first 10 weeks, I can see us going like 8 and 2, 8 and 1. I think it's realistic if you look at it because I say 8 and 1 because there's a bye week in there too. 8 and 1, 7 and 2. 7 and 2 will be a real good start to the season. And the fact that we don't have that first place schedule this year, that's big time for us, DK.
I think there are a lot of differences between last year and this year. And among them is the fact that the Steelers, in a negative sense, have a much more ambitious travel schedule. There are more trips out west and everything. Last year, the Steelers had the lightest travel schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's not none of that stopping Rick from predicting 11 and 6. And Tony comes in now that we called him out here or more. My bad.
Come on, Tony.
He says,
you're better than this.
Dark Donnie has a 12 and 5, which means he's not really all that dark at all. That's a bright outlook.
That's bright out. Our guy also too talking about Kenny. 17 games, need 34 touchdowns, 2 a game.
Yeah,
we don't see.
Yeah, here's the best condescending reply. Tony.
That's just one of them. I was joking with a buddy of mine. It's like when you say something to your wife or you read something out loud, and they say, "Read that again." That's essentially what we talk. Hey, read that again out loud and slower. That's pretty much what everybody's telling Tony.
Jeez, yeah, that's where we're headed here. I had a really good one here. I want to find again somewhere here. Toddy wants to take issue with the Vegas bettors. I mean, it's their money.
It's their money. Yeah,
they're setting the line. Yeah,
I'm taking the over on that one. If you ask me, Toddy, about that one, I'm taking the over on that one.
Yeah, there's not really, there's not that much to say or do, but when it comes to what the bettors are betting on, I mean, the Vegas odds makers follow them.
Yeah,
it's not just a couple of people sitting there in Las Vegas going, ha ha ha, let's stick it to the Steelers. Or how did you put it here? It's disrespectful.
Right? Disrespectful. And a lot of things got to come into play with that too. I see I got hand over fist saying this. The Muth will have a career year this year. He is the topic of conversation. George Pickens, by the way, the under 25 list of big offensive playmaker, he was number 2 on that list. George is due for one. Pat is due for one. Najee, heck, do we even call last year back? This year bounce back year. It wasn't a bad one for him. He just in and out sharing offensive reps, right?
While we're not paying attention to Marvin, he's sending people to the stepnephew table. I don't even want to know what that's about.
Get him out of here. Tony's headed over there is what's happening.
Oh, man. This is what I was going to share here. Actually, since you brought this up here, Calvin Austin was talking about with me when we had that long conversation about the differences between last year and this year of the Steelers. He's not talking about himself, obviously, since he's yet to take a snap in the NFL. But he said when even in practices, the differences. He was down at Kenny's workout sessions in February. He said everything was different. I was out there on the field. He told me last year at a practice field one day in Latrobe, and I didn't know where to go, which direction. And I knew, but it wasn't registering. And at one point, Coach Tomlin comes out on the field and he says to me, "Kid, seriously, just take a deep breath. Everybody, hang on a second. Okay? Are you all right now?
Yeah.
All right. Now just play football like you've been playing football." He said that seems like forever ago to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the difference. Year 1 and year 2, man. Tell him, Moan.
It really is, man. The next year you go into it really understanding how to be a pro. Like you heard, Calvin Austin mention that. You hear TJ talking about what it means to, pace yourselves a little bit. I think all of us expecting that from George Pickens, if we can be honest, right, DK?
Why not?
He's high on that list. And also Pat Frymouth, too. Like, there's a lot that goes into being a pro. And I don't think a lot of people I don't think enough players talk about this enough when it comes down to being able to do your job at such a high level for so long, too. Because the moment you slip, I had a group chat conversation the other day. The difference between college and the NFL is you don't do what you're supposed to do in the NFL, you're gone. So the anxiety is already there. Players outlast coaches in college. It ain't the same in the NFL. And I think that's why guys have that, I know how to play the long game conversation a little bit more, the older they get.
Mm-hmm. This is one that you're very, very into. I know this topic. DB Cooper says, "Hey, Moan, do you think Jalen made Najee a much better runner due to Jalen's running style?"
Hey, hear me out. Yes. Same way D'Angelo Williams and Le'Veon got it together. Same way Mewelde Moore and just other guys made it happen with Fast Willie Parker. Mewelde and Fast Willie Parker. He was more downhill. Fast Willie Parker outside on the edge, right? Let's think about those types of things. When Rashad Mendenhall had Isaac Redmond and we had those types of conversations, think about what it looked like. Like, look at it. It matters. Pollard and Zeke in Dallas. Yes, it did make him better. And I think if Najee's smart about it, ego's out the window. This is an extension of your career with a guy like him.
Do not. I'm just going to say this without, again, getting into too much information here. Do not leave Anthony McFarland off your radar.
Right.
Okay. He is still out of the group, out of that room. He's still the one who's best capable of two different things. One, catching the football. Two, finding the open grass for a big play.
Yeah.
Okay. And he is help me out here. Without giving stuff away. He's part of the offense.
He's part of the offense. He's had some inclusion. Let's just call it that.
He's had some inclusion, and he's had some quality.
So DK, you're getting me hype, and I'm really trying to control myself a little bit with all of these.
I had that kind of day
nuggets
over there today. Okay, I had that kind of day.
I'm really so you know what DK. I think it's time for you and me and everybody else just have a reality check. Okay, I'm having it because you're lightly hyping me up, and I feel like the comments about to say the same thing. Okay, DK, but I got a little reality check for you. Okay, straight from Lenny.
Oh, Lenny, you dog.
Lenny's me. Lenny's me. Lenny Peters says this. All this excitement and positive energy, and I keep thinking, what's the Canada factor? Hoping he can improve like the perks that get go. DK.
I never ever use this program.
Come on, man.
To promote other stuff that I do, but I am writing about this for my column tonight that's going up on DK Pittsburgh Sports. I've done some digging into what this new offense might look like, and I'm going to save that for the paying subscribers that we
don't
have
bury the
over
lead,
there.
right?
So if anybody wants to talk about it tomorrow after the fact, we can do that. But let's just say if you go through the pattern of the names that I've been mentioning on this show, these are people who are all involved in the offense, and they're not opening up the playbook that they stole from Kenny's SUV. But what they are saying is, look, there's going to be a lot more to it.
Okay.
And there wasn't that much to it, as we all saw with the naked eye in 2022. Does that make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world. And I just saw somebody that's excited about the column coming up too, DK. So I just saw that from Rodney Hill. Rodney Hill said, I'm done blaming Canada. This is on Tomlin for keeping him around. Who also had a factor.
It will be.
Keeping him. No, but hear me out. Who also had a say-so in Canada being around too this offseason. He said it publicly. Mr. Rooney did. Did he not?
He did.
Mr. Rooney also had a play in that stuff. You're going to talk about Tomlin getting the axe. You need to talk about ownership getting the axe too, because he had an explanation for that too.
Yeah, that type of decision, by the way, that's everybody. That's not even a Tomlin here. It's not a Rooney there. That's made. It's not throughout.
Omar
has got to be on board. Andy Weidl's got to be. Everybody's got to be thinking, listen, this guy has another year on his contract. Let's give him a chance.
Yeah.
Not almost like him. I don't know.
Casey Keister just said Kenny too. Like sometimes outplaying coaching does matter. And I know Kenny's young, but if he gives you a route and you throw an interception on something you had a bad read on, that ain't Matt Canada. That's a you thing. You feel me?
Yep.
So we can throw him under the bus all you want to, but we still got to deal with him this fall. And the idea that, look, there's a lot that goes into it. William McDuffie, you're right. Didn't Rooney say it first? Yes, he did.
Yeah, that again was part of the beauty of having this experience that I did today with Mike Tomczak and him pointing out different things on the field. There was one play, hypothetically maybe, that did or didn't happen, where it was just a simple flick to the left. Okay,
yeah.
Nope. Okay, I'm not even getting into what kind of play. All right, and the play never makes it there because the edge rusher reaches up with his hand. Okay, and Tomczak says, now how many people blame that on the quarterback when they see it, or they blame it on the coordinator because it looks like such a dud of a play, right?
Yeah.
He said that's on the left tackle every time. Can't let that guy raise his
hands down.
That's
it's quick.
Exactly
it's quick game. You got to get his hands down. Why are
his
you
hands
can't
back? Be up? He said his hands can't be up.
We can't say who was in. If it was a young guy in before Broderick, if it was Broderick in, why are you sitting back? That's a coaching thing. Yeah. I'm just saying in general. That's a coaching thing.
They jumped in and said that hand can't be up in the air there.
So who do you blame that on? Is that the quarterback? Is that the offensive coordinator? No, that's probably the tackle right there.
But if you're watching on TV, what are you thinking?
That's the quarterback. Bad, terrible play.
We also have to be careful about every time something goes wrong saying it's on Matt Canada.
Yeah, facts.
Facts. So we're going to take a couple more today from everybody. I know we've been doing a lot of gabbing today.
We have, but fair. I saw one too as we talking about DK. It's from earlier. I'm not sure if this person's even still in there right now. It's from Daniel Pike. Way earlier. You go, hey Moan. Isaiah Simmons feels like a great fit to the puzzle. Of course, looking for that other outside edge, right, that we're currently assembling. Is that a stretch or is a potential considering it's Arizona and the con man at work? Fair. If you can get a weapon like that, you do. But you also going to get it on a 1-year deal. You let him hit free agency, see how that shake out. I think the same thing can be said about Chase and Washington. Golly, out from Ohio State. Golly, what is his name? The outside rusher from Ohio State that's at Washington Commanders right now. Chase.
Chase Young.
Chase Young.
Yeah.
They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Why trade for him when you know you're going to have a shot at him in free agency?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some options there for you next year. I think with the 4 you got, the 2 starters and the 2 backups we have right now, it's very serviceable, man. Chase Young, appreciate that, Gabe.
Yeah, and I certainly wouldn't be underplaying Marcus Golden's presence already on the roster.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I think they might already have their 3.
I do too.
But there's nothing to, there's nothing to keep them from it. Rodney accuses me of brainwashing the fans to always blame Canada. We're falling. Don't be pinning that on me.
Come on, DK. Come on.
A, I'm nowhere near that important.
Yeah,
And B, everyone does pretty well on their own in terms of burying the guy. And here we hear from a relative of Matt Canada.
That's fair. Michael Walker says, thank you. Thank you for giving Matt Canada a break. You know what, DK? That's fair. And Michael Walker has a point, though, too. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Being stuck, DK, at a position or in a game, not knowing what to call next, like that is a problem. Hopefully we see the evolution. Hopefully.
Our last cue today, after we thank Marvin Wallace.
Marvin.
For his contribution to the program. Those are always appreciated. Comes from BSG, who says, I might be reading too much, but what if the Steelers added more offensive linemen because of a possible move from the NFL about getting players that were maybe a current player is in trouble? I mean, what's the point of that?
No, I think
we can all they might also be accused of murder or whatever. I mean, we can do that. Okay. Well, we did bring up the Patriots earlier in the show. So
BSG, I would say this. I think you got more bodies because you were 42. You had more money. I think this team is going to transition to a, smash people in the mouth type of situation. And when you play that style of ball to DK, camps are physical. I had somebody on my show today in Nashville this morning that visited us in camp. And he said, I'd never seen anything like you guys' camp. He's like, I've seen physicality before. He said, but I've never seen anything like you guys' camp. And he
says, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but that ought to let you know, like, injuries happen. Guys might miss time in camp, and having all those extra bodies just help us.
Oh, yeah. Twiz says that Simmons is an off-ball linebacker. Simmons has actually played both. Yeah. He has experience, and he's currently selling himself as such, as someone who could play.
Hasn't he also called himself positionless?
Basically.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that especially, what did Vince Williams say about this position to you, Moan?
You better be determined.
It's anything. It can be anything.
Yeah, it can be anything, man. You better rush, better be able to coverage, better be able to pop somebody in the mouth. It's everything.
Yeah, and that goes for Isaiah Simmons too, who sees himself, and rightly so, as positionless. I want to thank everybody.
Thank you, guys.
For the members. We're up at 472.
Beautiful.
We're not far from 500, Moan.
That's crazy, DK.
That's crazy. What did you start that, like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. No, we're about a month in now, ain't it?
Is that right?
About a month. Yeah, we're about a month. Yeah.
Time flies when you're bouncing around covering different events all the time.
And thanks for sticking with us, man. We're going to have more, especially mini camps coming up next week, too. Got to discuss that. May even drop some alleged stuff on you, right, DK? Always.
Not really.
Nod and a wink.
Never. No, there's, for anybody who doesn't know their schedule, there's OTAs tomorrow and then Thursday again, and then mini camp is formal and mini camp is mandatory. So you're going to see probably the closest you'll see to formations and stuff like that. And again, even though you can't say, I saw them do this and I saw them do that, when the players come off the field, You're asking questions. Today I mentioned Allen Robinson, and another reporter just comes in and does their checking the boxes with Allen Robinson, and they just say, hey, were you lined up did you do some lining up in the slot today and outside? And Allen Robinson says, yes, I did a little bit of both. So you have that, okay?
Yeah.
So that's how, but sometimes it gets weird. Like Hakeem Butler, you go up to him and you say, Hakeem, did you make a really great catch today? Like where you had your hands doing this and you fell on your back and whatever. And Hakeem says, yes, I did all of those things.
Yes, DK. I love it, man. Who? Hey, Dejan Borges, I see you over there. You holding out to be member number 500. Stop. I love to see you guess it.
Oh, see, what will happen is we'll get to $4.99 and then Marvin will cancel his membership. Just to go wag a finger one last time.
Marvin's
at the uncle's table.
He's in with us, DK.
That's good stuff.
Yes, it is.
Appreciate everybody's participation on this and everything, and we will do another one of these tomorrow, right, Mo?
We will. We'll be locked in, good people.